We are live here on Facebook.
All right.
So let's go ahead and get started, man. Good afternoon, or actually good evening now. It's 6:40.
Yep.
So it's Sunday, January the 17th, and this is another episode of Soapbox Sundays with myself, Cool C Dub One, and my main man Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So Dan, before we get into any of the topics today, we can sure we'll have some interesting topics.
Yeah.
Let's start off by letting the people know who we are and how they can get in touch with us as usual.
All right. We are Athena Protection Service. We provide security services, and you can reach us on any social media platform at Athena Protection Service, or you can reach us on our 800 number at 800-951-4866. That's 800-951-4866. But this is Soapbox Sunday, and this is our opportunity to reach the people. So what we doing on Soapbox Sunday that we do every week is we talk about, what's on our mind, what's on our hearts, and how we feeling. So this is an open forum, so I encourage everybody that's on. I see Tiff in the comments. What's up, cuz? I love the changes you made to the website. Is looking real clean. And I see T Roy up in there. It's good to see the brother. I know he got once this market correct, he got a big payday coming because he in a nice little position. So that's good to see him in there too.
Awesome.
Like I say, everybody welcome to talk. If anybody want to come up, just shoot us a inbox or a message, and we'll bring you on.
Great. Great. So before we get into any of the topics, we let the people know who we are and how you can get in touch with us. Some dear to my heart and some that's most definitely still very important as we continue midway through January is COVID and
Mm-hmm.
where we stand right now as a state with COVID numbers.
Well, I got that set up for you. All right. My computer being slow. But don't fret. I got it back up here since I'm having an issue. So we are.
And these COVID numbers are through yesterday or Friday, typically, that we update you with as he's pulling those numbers up.
Yeah, these numbers were updated today or yesterday. So
Okay.
this is as of yesterday. We had 535,000 cases, 13,000 deaths, 13,804 deaths. We creeping up on uh, 14,000 deaths here in Michigan, most of which are in the Tri-County area where most of the people in this state live. Daily confirmed cases are at 1,900, and we're looking at about 103 deaths per day. Um, Now, as far as the shutdown is concerned, or the order, or the gathering guidelines, still not open as workplaces if you can work from home, restaurants and bars with indoor dining, nightclubs, contact sports with the exclusion of professional sports, and water parks. What you can do is you can get a haircut, healthcare. Theaters are actually open, bowling centers, restaurants for outdoor dining and takeout. You can go to retail. Some preschools are open. Um, Funerals are at a 25-person capacity. Public transit and child care places are now open as of January 13th. Order for COVID-19.
Okay, thanks for that update. And some good information to know. I know schools, the governor mentioned this previous week that we were trying to get schools back up and running by March.
Mm-hmm.
We did see COVID numbers reach as high as even 8,000 per day. So, in comparison to those numbers back in late November and December, we are seeing the numbers go down. But
Mm-hmm.
again, we're not doctors. We just like to give you the update based off information that we see and come across in our day to day. And I will just say that there is another strand of the virus that has been confirmed cases in the UK, and there has actually been a case, and I don't have the details on it right now. I do apologize, but
Hmm.
there is a case where it has been found that someone came here from the UK. How they did that, I don't know.
Hmm.
But they contracted the virus and are now here in the United States with that virus. So, folks, continue to wear your mask. That's all we can tell you. Continue to wear the mask. Be smart. We know it's a long haul. Know it's a new year, but this virus, I say it every week, it doesn't look at the calendar, it doesn't look at time, it doesn't look at race or any of those things. Your financial situation, none of those things matter. This COVID is most definitely still something that we need to take serious. The good thing is the vaccine. For those of you that are interested in taking it or knowing about it, they are increasing the amount of people that they'll be getting those doses out to. And I
Hmm.
know the hotlines have been flooded, but they seem to be getting that in order and will increase the amount of people that are eligible to get that vaccine. Of course, you know, our essential workers, doctors, teachers, people of that sort, you know, police department, fire, all of those type of people will go first. And then seniors, which they're already doing 70 and above. And I think in the city of Detroit, not think, in the city of Detroit, they're actually saying that if you're a driver that's bringing you for the senior citizens of 65 or older, they can get the vaccine as well. So things are moving in the right direction for that. But please continue to be safe. Wear your mask. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, I'm gonna be safe, and I'll tell you why. I actually talked to Candace about this. It might have been yesterday.
Okay.
Uh, I don't want no parts of COVID by being a respiratory issue or virus. I already got respiratory problems, and I'm always attempting to be as safe as I can. I was telling her that when I was in boot camp, um, I had pneumonia and literally felt like I was dying. Um, I was couldn't breathe. It was painful to breathe. And anytime I did try to breathe, I had so much mucus in my chest. It was causing me to cough up these lumps of blood and just mucus, these hard, like just lumps, um, just clumps of mucus and blood. And I remember writing my mother and telling her like I thought I was out of there. So I was like, if something happened, this is what was going on, and um, I got pneumonia. So just so she knew, just in case something happened to me, like that's how fucked up I was feeling. So
Mm.
because I was feeling like that, I was telling her like I don't mean no disrespect to people, but a lot of times I'm not coming around a bunch of people and I'm not doing anything, just with huge crowds. I'm just not doing it. And I wish everybody well. And I want everybody to be safe and do what you do, but I mean, don't let me stop. Obviously I'm not going to stop anybody from doing what they want to do, but I'm going to move according to what I think is best for me. And that's how I'm moving right now.
Exactly. And people have to respect that as well as, like you said, we also have to respect people who, you know, they have this view. And guess the best way I can explain is almost like, look, if it's my time, it's my time. And I get that. The only thing I'll say to that is if you're out there moving and you're a single person or you know, you and the people in your house are all in that same mindset and you don't really deal with anybody but those people and you out there, fine. But for anybody who has somebody that they come in contact with that they couldn't imagine losing because of the virus, don't be so selfish that you don't forget and think about how that could affect people. So, you know, we could talk about the virus all podcast long. I
Right.
don't want to do that today, but I do just plead with people to continue to wear your mask, be safe. You know, we taking this pause right now so that when are able to get back together, and I'm sure you've seen or heard this post a million times, we want everybody to be able to be there. We don't
Mhm.
want to be talking about people who didn't make it because they didn't survive COVID. It was already hard enough out here, and
Right.
just surviving. Period. We live in a pretty volatile metropolis. It's not one of the best places to live. So you have those daily challenges, as well as just the day in and day out health wise. Uh, Without COVID, people succumb to their health issues. So continue to be safe. We talk about that as well. Stay on top of your doctor's appointments and getting checked out. I know it's been hard because of COVID, but continue to stay on top of taking care of yourself,
Mhm.
everybody.
So my mother usually comment on the podcast, right? She in Facebook jail for something. I don't know what she did, but she just sent me a text that she can't comment.
So a lot of people, and it's funny, I don't want to get into a bunch of details on it, but any comments, and I won't say any, but I would guess that comments related to anything that happened with the uprising at the Capitol last week,
Hmm.
um, they're being real particular. And we have to remember, and we talked about this on the previous podcast just last week, these are private platforms that
Right.
these companies who are censoring, and you agreed to their rules and guidelines when you signed up for it, and understand that these companies have the right to do that.
Right.
I think right now, due to the severity of what happened on January the 6th, they are really, you know, clamping down on that right now, because I've had numerous friends say that they're in what we call, laughingly, Facebook jail, and it will continue.
Yeah.
So usually, if you're talking about any political topics and giving an opinion on it, keep in mind we get most of our information from media sources, and I always tell people, what makes you so sure that the information you got is true? Just do
Hmm.
your fact checking and make sure that you have that information and not just going off of what the media tells you. Um, So good luck to everybody. But understand that these platforms will and they are being very strict about what you can say in
Hmm.
relation to right now. Anything political seems to be the hot button. And I
Right.
know I saw a post, and it was the slightest thing. She inquired about where the barricades were
Right.
at the Capitol, was the last thing that I remember seeing, and
That's why
apparently,
that
apparently
might have
that
been what
was
it was.
that could have been enough, because
Yeah.
who knows? We just have to be patient with that. So, and hopefully you'll get out soon. I will send you $200 to pass go, but this is not Monopoly, so I don't know how long. I know some people do get a date when they'll be released. I'm not sure if that's the case with her.
Right. So tell me, man. So that we talking about this president and the transition, and what happened last week or a week or so ago. What do you think about companies having the ability to silence political leaders? Do you think that that's an issue, or do you think it's not an issue? And like you said, we can, we all signed up to be a part of this platform. And do we just go with the rules and go by what they say, or is it a bigger issue when you silencing somebody at the stature of a president?
Well, I think the challenge is because, again, we and we have to be real careful, because last week when the social media companies started putting people in their restrictions or restricting their access to their sites, we was
Mm.
happy because of the individual that it was happening to. And you had even a few celebrities who said, hey, just so you know, this can be really it can swing the other way in a heartbeat, and not even a week and a half later, we're seeing that that's happening. So, in response to your question, I just think we have to really be careful, because what will it be next that'll be censored? And within this censor, and they're looking at everything that we're saying and doing on these platforms. Um, I'm just concerned that it's already happening where these platforms are pushing the mentality of our country. So I just think people have to be smart and have to really, understand that these platforms can be a gift and a curse. I guess that's the best way I can put it. I'm concerned and with
Hmm.
you know now it's because of political views. Will it be because you're not a Detroit Lions fan, or
Hmm.
because you said something about LeBron not being shouldn't be mentioned in the conversation with being the great? Whatever the topic is that somebody feels strongly about, now we can be silenced. So for me, the concern is we're turning into what we've seen in some of those other countries, with the level of violence towards government, as well as being put in situations where our voices are being silenced on a broader
Right.
platform. Because how else do you get your message across? We're dependent on these platforms now.
Well, we are, but a president is not necessarily dependent on. Although it's easier, I would say, um, for him to send a tweet. Um, everybody not in front of their TV. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, if they do a broadcast and he control the airways, everybody may not get that message. So I think it's just faster. It's a faster avenue for people to open a phone and see something on Twitter or see something on Facebook
Right.
or watch a YouTube video. And that's just different when.
Now we're in the now business. We want everything as fast as possible. So absolutely. But I even seen where the president was talking. Looked like he might have been at a airfield, and he started talking about his concerns with the election and things of that nature. And the reporter said, "Okay, we're going to just cut away from that." And I gotta say, I've never, in all my time of following politics, I've never seen the president of the United States in the process of speaking and the media broadcast decide that we don't want to listen to what he's talking about, so we're gonna. And I'm sorry, it wasn't a live broadcast. It was a video
Okay.
of something that
Okay.
he was talking about, and they didn't wait for him to finish what he was talking about before they said we're
Yeah.
just gonna cut away from it.
So
So
here's the thing: another Congress member was restricted on Twitter today because of election uh, misrepresentations about Georgia. Um, and it seemed like they kind of going down with that ship. So I think if you continue to say things that have been proven to not be true, um, and you are in a political office, I think that there should be some kind of consequences held for you misrepresenting the truth. So I think it should be. Me and you can go online and lie about whatever we want to, and misrepresent things, however we want to within reason, I would say. But when you hold a public office, it's a different level of expectation. I think that they have more so than you or I would have. So I think that's why they responding like that. And also, again, these they they are their overseers are the Congress. So I think that got something to do with why they respond in the way that they are.
but just the question that you asked, I'm concerned as we move forward
Hmm.
as to what level of censorship will we eventually have in this country, almost like some other countries where they don't have free will of the internet and they don't have free reign and free speech, freedom of speech to say and do whatever they want. I could see us getting to that point sooner than later.
So we at a point where we got the the National Guard at the Capitol for the inauguration, which is ridiculous to me. Um, what's your thoughts on the transition of power and how it's going? And do you anticipate anything happening in the next week?
Great question. So I'll be honest with you. To answer the first part of it, I think that the same way 4 years ago, many of us who didn't, you know, vote Republican or agree with the election, I just remember being told repeatedly by the the party that won the election that, hey, you lost, deal with it, and
Hmm.
you know, move on. You know, I remember people talking about moving out of the country and doing all kind of things, and I didn't believe too much of that. Um, Funny now, fast forward 4 years, most countries wouldn't let us move there anyway right now. But I just remember the narrative was, hey, you know, we have a democracy for a reason. This party won, deal with it. And for the
Hmm.
most part, people kicked and screamed, but they did deal with it. They dealt with it without any violence. I know there continued to be the struggles that we have in the Black community with with law enforcement and just outright discrimination still, you know, over the last 4 years. So the challenge, I guess, would be, you know, now that we're moving forward and that other party, the advice that they gave us, just trying to help them take that same advice. Look, this is who's in office now. Let there be a smooth transition. I was out today riding and I saw it was an American flag with Biden slash Harris, and then it had the circle with the line through it as in no, and then under the bottom, not my president and vice president. And this flag was, you know, somebody had it, you know, posted on their house. It was flying off of their house like the flag, you know, the United States flag flies most places. I said, wow, you know, I kind of shook my head and said, well, they might not be your president and vice president, but on the 20th, they are that for the country. And anybody who doesn't like that, oh well, because for the last 4 years, whether we liked it or not, we dealt with the administration and all that came with that. And we made a decision and went to the polls and made a change. All I'll say is I hope going forward, when we don't get what we want from the politicians who are in office, that we will continue to make the change at every level. As far as the second part of your question, what concerns do I have about it? I don't think that there will be any violence at the inauguration. I felt like I was having a Floyd Mayweather minute there for a second, trying to say the pandemic. Hey, sorry, Floyd, if you're watching, sorry, man. I'm just joking. Don't come for me. Floyd guy can punch. So I don't, back to the question, I don't think that there will be any violence on that particular day. My concern, because I feel like what's considered to be in the mindset of individuals, the balance of power, I feel
Hmm.
like it's being swayed.
Okay.
Swayed, I mean that I feel like it's more, I feel like people truly understand that we need to have equality in this country. Nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, because obviously somebody wants it to stay as it is, where we have a race of people who right now, overall, not only think but seem to be the ones who are in control of this country in every aspect. And I think that, you know, that needs to change. There is a great diversity in this country, and I think it needs to have the same opportunities for everybody to just be able to be successful and have opportunities financially like everybody else. So my concern is after the inauguration is when we'll see those people who don't feel like that balance of power should be equaled out or evenly distributed are going to kick and scream. You know, you have individuals who feel like they are losing their stronghold on a situation. That's a problem. And you know, these anti-government groups, ironically, the same ones who fought so hard for Blue Lives Matter, and shame on talking about Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
Don't seem to care about those blue lives either, which is interesting because just months ago, this past summer, that was more important than even what we were saying Black lives. And I don't think one is more important than the other. They all matter. And that's our point we've been trying to get across. But I just thought it was interesting to see the amount of people who strongly disagree with the term Black Lives Matter and
Mm-hmm.
put blue lives ahead of it are now saying F those blue lives too because they're not getting what they want from them. So that's what concerns me in this country is that some parties or some people, when they political needs they don't feel they're being met, are going to resort to violence as we move forward, as opposed to peaceful protests and trying to make changes. Um, I keep seeing images of gentlemen at the insertion on the 6th saying, you're not going to take our country from us. And I don't know, you know, that statement is interesting to me. Take your country, some people in this country going to take the country from you. It's just
Okay, so
not
we got
charge.
a we got an audience question of what should the new administration focus on first, and I will say we have a COVID issue that I think will be the priority for the Biden-Harris administration when they come in the door. I think that that's something that they need to get under control as they move forward with their agenda. They already laid out the economic policy that they want to put in place of getting people $1,400 checks directly to the people to make up for the 2,000 that was initially promised. They want to get businesses money and they want to do infrastructure. So I think they want to also fast track the the uh, the what's the damn for the COVID the shot.
The
So they
vaccine.
yeah, they want to fast track the vaccine and kind of get that going and get money where it's supposed to be, so that states can have everything that they need so that they can start getting people um, the shot so that they can open up the economy so that everybody can kind of get back to what we kind of were used to previous to this previously before we had to encounter a year-long shutdown and not being able to interact with each other and intermingle with each other. So I think that is the priority. That's going to be what they focus on first, getting that stimulus bill done and um, his infrastructure. I'm pretty sure that they're going to want to do that. And that's something that they'll try to do on a bipartisan level. It may or may not happen. Well, we'll see. But I think they're going to take advantage of the slight majority that they have, and they'll try to push a couple of things through that are not too controversial. So I think that's something that we'll see in those first 100 days, and also, getting his cabinet done and getting all the people in position so that they could start taking care of things and they're not um, doing business with a bunch of people in active positions. Um, do I think that they're capable of making the changes for our country to move forward? I'm going to say I don't know. And I'm going to say that because um, in order for this country to move, and I had this conversation with a coworker on Friday, in order for this country to move forward, people have to kind of take a look in the mirror and do a little bit of soul searching about um, what this country is, what it has been, and where they intend for it to go. Um, this country was built and established on separation and racism and a bunch of other evils that we don't seem to acknowledge whatsoever. And we are seeing that once again when people are acting and lashing out because they're not getting their way and things are not going or going to be going the way that they believe it should be going. So until we get that hatred out the way and we get that spirit of this is my country and not yours, and this is ours and not yours. Until we get rid of that, we will continue to have problems in this country, in my opinion. And I don't think a president and vice president or their cabinet can handle something like that on their own. I think it's a group thing. It's all about us. It's not about me. It's about us. Uh, it's not a singular thing. It's a group thing, and it has to be for the country to grow. That people have to learn to evolve and accept things, and that's kind of not what I'm seeing happen. As long as these groups keep popping up, and I know that there's there's a an alternate to everything in the world, that we got good and evil, we got, all of those, everything has an opposite, everything has a place. So will it go away? No, but I think there's a room for improvement if we all are on the same page. And I think a part of it is when people are doing and saying things that are inappropriate and that should be corrected. I know it's draining and I know it's hard to always deal with, but a lot of these people have to be checked on the spot. And I think that's one of the things we have to continue to do, to let people know that certain behaviors are just flat out not acceptable. And from there, I think we can move forward.
And that's a challenge in itself, especially as we move forward, because as you say, the challenge things. And I know when we talked last week about how 2020 showed us a lot about people in a positive and a negative way. Um, some of the things that I saw people as far as how they truly feel about things was displayed on exactly what we started off talking about on the social media platforms. And I think that's, to piggyback back on the question you inquired before, that's my concern, that as we try to have these dialogues with people, at least on social media, I see it being interrupted and censored. So it's the challenge of, do we take on these disagreements in person, and we've seen how in the past that has been a result in people literally losing their mind over something as simple as, you can't come into this establishment without a mask on. And I've seen people, challenge people to not do that. And I've seen the flip side to that. I've seen some tantrums thrown where people have literally started snatching stuff off the shelves, getting in people's face. There was one supporter of the current president who actually spat in someone's face and coughed on them purposely because he felt they were infringing on his rights to not have to wear a mask. And so just, I think you're on point. We got to keep challenging it, and it's got to be in the workplace. It's got to be in the family. It's got to be at every point. We've got to challenge it, uh, and trying to. I guess the balance is trying to be respectful with them doing that
Mhm.
and question it. But I guess to play a little bit of the devil's advocate, I would say, be careful, because, if I believe the sky is blue and you don't believe it's blue, I can't change your mind and you can't change mine.
Right.
So be careful in when it is that you're trying to get your opinion across. And I'll just give an example. If you're trying to argue this point with somebody on social media who you don't know from A to B, why is that fight really relevant for you to engage in? Now, if you're having this conversation with people who you engage with somewhat consistently, be it family members, friends, or coworkers, then absolutely, have that dialogue. But just know that the challenge is always going to be, number one, will you even have the opportunity to voice those opinions publicly? And number two, can you safely do those? Because again, I feel like some of the arguments that we're trying to have, we're having with individuals who for a long time have felt that this country was theirs.
Hmm.
And we all should feel that this country is ours. We say that theoretically, but at the end of the day, we know a large group of individuals have felt like this country has been theirs. And now that that's being challenged, it's a tough road ahead for individuals who have that type of ideology that this is a place is only for me and not for you, even though we all are here, regardless
So
of how we got here.
right. This
Because
how it
we
was
all didn't start here.
yeah, this how it was presented to me. The wound of racism, we keep covering it up
Absolutely.
and we don't treat what's inside of it. Like it just festers and gets infected and it spreads. And do we snatch that bandage off or do we do a slow peel? And now the person who told me this said when we snatch it off, like when we censor the president or we do something drastic, the first thing we do is go to cover that wound back up because of that shock. So in his theory, which I'm gonna have to get him on here, he thinks that the slow peel is necessary. And then we go in and we start to clean and treat it and figure out how that process works.
Okay. Yeah, we most definitely would love to have him on so he can break down his ideology on that topic.
But that was a good one. So let's talk local right quick. So let's talk local.
What's going
So
on local that's on your mind?
um we had a CPL holder ambushed recently. This was let me get the date. This was the other day,
Okay.
the 15th. The guy meets woman on the internet, and we've heard this story before. We actually keep hearing this story, which is why it's important to bring it up again. Um, the guy meets a woman on the internet. She invites him over. The boyfriend pops out and tries to rob the CPL holder, who is 57 years old. Um, I am not sure how old the woman was. Okay, the woman was 18 and her boyfriend was 18, or the man that was in the place with her. And the 18-year-old male tried to rob the 57-year-old man who happened to be a CPL holder, who they exchanged fire and they hit each other multiple times. Both men are in critical condition in the hospital right now. Both guns were actually recovered from the scene. This is an ongoing issue with online dates and meeting people. The best thing I think that people can do is meet in a public place when you're meeting somebody for the first time that you met online. Um, that meeting doesn't have to be private. And I think the safest thing you can do is do something group wise if you're going to meet somebody for the first time. But I mean, this is an adult. I mean, he 57 years old. I guess he felt safe. You know, he had a gun, but you know, the situation turned potentially fatal. So you just got to be careful with people, meeting people online that you don't know and you never met before, and then you're going into places that you're unfamiliar with. A lot of times we see this a lot where these are setups where they have a friend in the house or in the hotel room, and they come out and attempt to rob you. So I just think it's important. Um, you know, if I don't want to, if that's what you do, check the area, check the household, whatever the case may be. Just try to be as safe as possible will be my thing. But what are your thoughts on this continuing issue that we've seen where people get set up online?
Okay, so I read the article and you gave us exactly what basically the news report gave us. So now I'm gonna give you the street breakdown of what the hell just happened.
Right.
So we had a 57-year-old man met a woman on a dating site who was 18, and her 18-year-old boyfriend, or her 18-year-old boyfriend, jumped out at some point during the meetup and attempted to rob the individual. So right off the bat, growing up in the city and knowing there was a site called Backpage that was
Mm-hmm.
shut down, and it was for these type of things. So obviously, people are going on other sites, and I don't want this to come across the wrong way because I'm in no point, shape, or whatsoever trying to speak bad about dating sites. But this obviously was a site that was set up primarily for um, that to meet up with someone, sound like purely just a sex encounter
Mm-hmm.
that went bad. So obviously, we would tell people be careful if that's what you're out there doing, because that's exactly what that sounds like. I would say I would piggyback as a CPL holder. I would say that you most definitely want to be safe and safely carry a firearm anytime you're going into a situation that you don't know and understand um, how you'll be safe in that environment. So absolutely, CPL holder did the right thing by carrying a weapon there. But this
Mm-hmm.
sounds like a concern with the sex trafficking industry, and that's what these individuals sound like they may have been into. I apologize if that's not the case, but
Right.
that's exactly what it sounds like. Again, back to if you are meeting people online, and we'll just pause or not pause, stand for a second here because for many years online dating was taboo. It was
Right. Right.
only for what we consider to be the nerdy, unpopular group of people that went on there, or it was for people to do what they call catfishing and living out alternate. I shouldn't say alternate, but living out the fantasy of being somebody else and pretending to be somebody else online, and it was really a challenge. But I guess for me, I'll say that in 2021 is probably with COVID and things of that nature, probably one of the only ways that you could realistically meet somebody and start getting to know them. But back to what you said at the beginning of the topic, be safe. If you're going to meet someone online, that's fine. But that individual that you meet online, before you go meeting them someplace, I highly recommend, as you said, that meeting be something that's done in a public place, not at a hotel room, not at your place or the individual's place. I know me as a man, I wouldn't be comfortable meeting a woman that I've only, encountered online. I wouldn't be comfortable meeting her for the first time out at a hotel or at their home. I would want to meet up someplace public, if that's something possible, to meet that individual. You just got to be careful. It's unfortunate that the gentleman was shot, injured, as you said, in critical condition right now in the hospital, as well as the individual who attempted to rob was also injured in it. So for the CPL holder, thank God that you were in a situation where you could protect yourself, and it's unfortunate that that happened. So right now, as you see, we're having a little bit of a technical issue. We've lost my co-host for whatever reason to the podcast. I'm gonna try to give him a chance to get back on here before we sign off. Um, we talk about these social media platforms. The challenge sometimes is also how do we maintain our what we like to do is I like to say our podcast. So challenge there. I can't see any of the comments in the comments due to the technical issues. So if you're still there with us, appreciate you hanging in there. We're going to try to get the host back on, the co-host back on here momentarily. It's always interesting when we have these type of challenges. give him a second. He's trying to get back logged in here. We'll see how this goes. While we're waiting on him to get back on, I would like to talk briefly about last week we talked about New Year's resolutions and changing things that you like to change, whether it be health related, financial, whatever it is. Just to give an update, I know that I personally started one of the resume was I was going to get up a little bit earlier every morning to actually give myself an opportunity to process and think about how I want to move through the day, as well as also physically get my body going with some exercise as I start my day, which has been, I feel a lot better. And it's only been a week. The first day was tough. I was able, we did the podcast on Sunday, and I was able to actually start the following morning on Monday. And it was, like I say, the first day was hard. I got up at 4:30 a.m. I don't have to be to work until 7 a.m., but I got up those few hours early, as I said, to get my mind mentally prepared for the day. Set out a few goals that I wanted to accomplish just for that day. As I said, I wanted to get up and start off with a workout and was able to do that. I also want to have my breakfast, but also prep my lunch for work and my dinner for the evening to be more productive. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to get up almost 3 hours before it's time for you to go to work, but for me, it has helped. I feel clear. I actually feel more refreshed. I even feel, and you listeners can tell me, I won't be able to see it in the chat, but I'll just know spiritually, I feel and look a lot better. I feel healthy. So I'm excited about that. But enough for me rambling on about that. I do apologize for the technical difficulties on the podcast that we had today. We was able to, bear with me for a second, feel like we were, touching on some key points. I'm going to try to invite him back into the podcast here, so bear with me for a second. Work in process here, folks. Again, I do thank you for your patience. I'm gonna get this back going here in just a second. Please listen to this whole music. Gotta love live TV, huh? right, so thank you if you're still there with us. I do apologize for the technical difficulties. Dan should be joining us momentarily. Gotta love technology. Sorry for the pause. Anybody out there watching the NFL this weekend? I know right now I'm looking at I had a Tampa Bay against the New Orleans Saints game on right now, and Tampa Bay is actually losing. The Saints are up 6-3 at this point. He is, can you? He's trying to get logged in. He's actually communicating to me via text at this point. So hopefully he'll be able to get back on here in just a moment. But also back to the NFL, had a chance to look at the game before that, which was between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland almost pulled off the upset. That game was pretty close as well. It's almost like I'm trying to be a sports broadcaster here, but the Chiefs were able to pull off a victory at home 22-17 to eliminate the Cleveland Browns, who made the playoffs for the first time since 1992. Sounds like a team we know very well here in the city of Detroit, Metro Detroit, who hadn't been in the playoffs or hadn't won a playoff game, I should say, in a very long time. So I was very happy to see them, Cleveland, get that opportunity to at least be in the playoffs and win a game. They won it against my Steelers. I wasn't happy about that, but that's a whole nother topic we'll talk about another day. Still trying to get Dan back on here with me. Send him an invite one more time. Hopefully this time it went through. They make it so hard to do a podcast with one when I can't see the comments from the viewers. But for those of you that are stomaching looking at my face for all this time, thank you again so much. I appreciate it. We're trying to get this back up and running, and I promise we'll be brief when we do get back up and running. We won't take up too much more of your evening now that I know that there's about 25 minutes to 8. We usually like to wrap up around this time. So I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. If you're still in the live Facebook feed, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hopefully we haven't been, I don't think we're in any type of restrictions due to the conversation that we was having. So we'll see here, everyone. Just making sure that I have everything in place here. So we do have Dan chiming back in here. Thank you so much for getting back in. We look like we got you back live here.
Yes, sir. I thought you could see the comments. I'm talking.
No.
Talking in the comments, you don't see nothing. All right.
I'm looking at my face for all this time. Thank you again so much. I appreciate it. I'm trying to get this back up and running. And I promise we'll be brief when we do get back up and running. We won't take up too much more of your evening.
Man, I thought you could see.
We're still live here on Facebook.
Yeah.
So for those of you that bear our technical difficulties, thank you so much. We are back on here. Finish up. We were just finished talking about the topic was the inauguration that's coming up on the 20th. How did I feel about it? We covered that. And for people who are still with us and may have joined after the start of the podcast, just because of the pause there for a moment, Dan, if you could quickly tell people who we are and how they can get in touch with us one
We
more
are,
time.
we are Athena Protection Service, and we provide security services. And you can reach us at Athena Protection Service on any social media platform, or you can reach us on our 800 number at 800-951-4866. Is 800-951-4866. And again, this is Soapbox Sunday, where we reach out to the people and we talk about what's on our hearts and minds. And we invite everybody to come in and join us and share their opinions and their questions, which we did have a little bit of today, which was very good and very insightful. Tiffany actually asked to join us, so I'm going to bring her in here real quick.
And while you're doing that, for the fans who I was giving updates on the playoff football game tonight, Tampa Bay has taken the lead and are now up 10-6 against the Saints. So if you are recording that game and wanted to know what's going on after, don't listen to the rest of the podcast. No, I promise I won't give any more updates. It is the start of the second quarter. And they're up right now against the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay is up 10-6.
Since we're talking about
Did we lose you again there, Dan?
there we go. Zoom tripping on us today, man.
Yeah, our apologies to the listeners. Your screen still is frozen, but I can hear you.
Okay.
I know you were trying to get another, you're trying to get someone else on the set or on the meeting, I should say. Man, had you not came back on when you did, I was getting ready to start trying to entertain our listeners. Um, and I was at a loss for how I was going to do that. I do know a few old school rap songs, Houdini, 5 Minutes of Funk, Friends. So if there's any requests in the chat box, I can get going. I need somebody to give me a beat. No, just kidding. I'm not getting ready to rap. Y'all stop it. Stop it.
There we go. It looked like it's fixed now.
Okay. So you were saying we had someone that had a question or a comment?
No, I was asking you about James Harden.
Oh, I didn't hear that. So James Harden, for those of you who don't know, James Harden forced his way out of the Houston Rockets and forced the ownership to trade him to the Brooklyn Nets, where he joins Kevin Durant and maybe Kyrie Irving. I say maybe because Kyrie has been MIA for the last few days for whatever reason that hasn't been disclosed to the public. And of course, people have their opinions on it, and they're trying to compare it to when LeBron went to Miami with D Wade and Chris Bosh, or even when the Boston Celtics got those guys together. You know, you had Paul Pierce back then, Kevin Garnett, and they got together and formed a team that went on to win a championship. I think, unfortunately, in this league, the way it's set up now, the only way for a team to truly compete for a championship is they do need to partner up that way. For
Mm-hmm.
old school NBA fans who like the old way where you drafted players and you made the necessary trades when players' contract was up and you built a team and you went and got a good coach and you fought hard and whatever challenges you had through the year that caused you to lose, you worked on those over the summer and you came back stronger and you competed. Well, just like microwave food, we want it hot and we want it hot and we want it fast. Kind of
Mm-hmm.
like a pizza from Little Caesars. I think the league, unfortunately, has, fallen into that trap that they have to try to maintain that. So, unfortunately, I think that's what it'll be going forward. Players will demand trades, whether they're due, because James Harden still had time left on his contract, and the
Mm-hmm.
team, even in the process of offering him a new contract, which seemed very lucrative financially,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't count another man's money, so that's not my place to talk about the finance part of it. But for whatever reason, he wasn't happy there. He was able to move. I've seen them play, just Kevin Durant and James Harden, and it's scary. Those guys look really good. The two of them.
Mm-hmm.
There is a internet comedian, and I apologize, I don't even know his name, but I know he does the parodies of LeBron James with his teammates after a loss, and he has a few friends with him, and he again mimics how LeBron would react to teammates after a tough loss. And he was fortunate enough that LeBron actually commented and shared one of his videos that he made
Mm-hmm.
um, in reaction to finding out about James Harden going over there with KD and Kyrie Irving. And it's hilarious. LeBron simply just tweeted because the guy kept saying, "You mean to tell me these guys got together as a team? I'm 36. I've already dealt with these Splash Brothers. I'm dealt with all of this. I'm too old to be having to deal with another super team like this in my career." It was, really funny. Whether you're a LeBron fan or not, I thought it was funny. And shout out to the comedian. I apologize, I don't know his name, but I do know. And as far as social media platforms, he got his blue check after LeBron made that comment and reshared his videos. So shout out to that man. He will now be able to actually make money off of what he seems to have a passion for, which is those parodies. But yeah, I mean, it's the NBA. So James Harden going over there, I'm not surprised. I think it will fall apart not because of the amount of talent not being able to pull it off. I think it'll be the mental part of it that'll cause that team of drama because
Mm-hmm.
two out of the three of those guys tend to be what I consider pretty thin skinned when it comes to criticism from um,
Very
social media.
sensitive.
think
Very, very
those,
sensitive.
think those distractions will hurt that team throughout the rest of the season. Like I said, we're already in January. The year is flying. We're halfway through January already. So I'm gonna try to see if we have another participant. Uh, I don't see the participant trying to get in. Uh, I can try inviting that participant in, but I don't have her email. So again, trying to get a guest on the air, so bear with us for a second. I had the information here for that guest, so gotta love technology. For those of you that hanging in there with us, just hang on a brief second here. I'm gonna invite a guest in, and I promise you, you guys will enjoy this guest. She's always just makes me laugh, and it's a pleasure to interact with. Bear with me here. I'm typing like somebody's grandpa, but I'm making sure I get this on the first take so that we don't have to prolong this already drawn out take.
Man, hating on me today, man. And I don't know why. I don't know why, man.
So just sent the invite out to her, and she should be getting on here momentarily with us.
Yeah, you got to run the show. Cause it ain't letting me do nothing.
I'm used to running the show, no big deal. So I invited her. She should be getting that request, and I'll see when she pops in here momentarily. Thanks again, everyone, for your patience this afternoon. Gotta love live TV. That's all I got to say. Are you still there with me?
I'm actually here. I'm not paused right now. I ain't touching nothing. So I think that's what's keeping me on right now. So
Okay.
I ain't touching nothing.
But don't touch nothing, and we'll see if we can get her on here in a second.
So while we waiting, let's talk. Let's talk. We got us a female vice president.
Okay.
You know, a lot of men I know don't think women can run things, but they forget that their mothers ran their house. Um, what's your thoughts on the VP and how you think she will fare in her position? You think you see any pushback on her, or do you think she gonna be out front a little more than previous VPs?
She would have to be, just because this is the first female vice president, at least that I can recall, and then to be a black female on top of it in the industry, they call that a double minority. Um, so I think, as we talked about earlier, as we continue to make changes in our society, this is most definitely one of the changes that has to happen. You know, when we think about women in the workplace and doing things, how crazy would it be to think that they're not capable of doing things that we do when, as you said, most of the women, at least I know in my life growing up, my mom was most definitely the one who ran the household. And
Mm-hmm.
you ask 9 out of 10 men, they'll say that the woman in their life runs their household. So I think that she'll be capable. I know it's a challenge for, not only the political party who, you know, lost to the incoming president and vice president, but I think the skepticism for a woman will be there just because people are still, I consider to be in the Stone Age when it comes to the way they think about things.
Mm-hmm.
And this is yet another opportunity for us to get out of our old ways of thinking, because that same type of thing is what kept Black people as a whole down for uh, a long time. I'll say that.
Yeah. I know a lot of women that run houses, man, and You know, it might be a man there putting some money up, but they don't really control the house. So this is interesting for me, I think, just to see people see that it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's been other women leaders around the world, is nice to see a woman in charge in the U.S. so people can see that she's not gonna burn the house down, so to speak. So I think it'll be good um, for everybody to kind of witness, you know, a woman not losing it, um, you know, in bust through the stereotypes that they think were previous.
I agree. Absolutely. I have no problem with it whatsoever. Like I said, this country at some point, we couldn't have possibly thought that we would never have this happen. It needed to happen at some point. When we talk about the equality that we want for ourselves as blacks in this country, how dare we, look down on that same theory when it comes to other races and either the opposite sex getting opportunities to be treated equally in every aspect of our lives. That's all anybody has wanted is the opportunity to be treated fair. Treat me like
Mm-hmm.
you would treat your friends. Um, is not a lot to ask for from people, in my opinion.
I can agree with that. I know some people that don't, but I agree with
And that's like I talked about earlier. Other political parties that didn't get what they wanted in this previous most recent election had to got to sit back and deal with it. We'll do the same thing, and the same thing should be in place for whoever has gotten a popular vote to be in that position. The public used our democracy to pick who they felt should run the country, and we 4 years ago was told we had to accept it, and we did. And the reason I say we did is because we didn't go and storm any capitals. We didn't, we didn't try to put any politician's life in harm's way.
you. Hmm.
There were no plots to, kidnap anyone 4 years ago. Uh, there were no plots on violence on the party as a whole. And if they were, they didn't make it to the level of what has just transpired over the last few weeks since the
Okay.
election.
So since we spin move back to there, let me ask you this: what you think about Republicans saying that it was Democrats that were disguised as Trump supporters storming the Capitol and causing all that mayhem uh, on the 6th?
Prove it. Because so far, everybody that I've seen get put into custody or been identified and looking to be put into custody were true supporters of the Republican Party and the current president specifically. Prove it. That's all. You know, I'm sure he not the one who made this up, but Jay-Z said men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I would need to see it. Just like there's rumored when we talk about suspicion, there's rumors that there are people involved in the Black Lives Matter
Mm-hmm.
movement that aren't really truly concerned with Black lives, other than just to incite violence and make the Black Lives Matter movement look to be something that it's not. We saw here locally back in the summer where there were protesters who were seen pushing shopping baskets full of rocks out into the middle of the street for protesters to hurl at the police. Things
Yeah.
like that were proven didn't really get a lot of traction. But I guess for me, it would be back to that: what is the media and the social platform really trying to guide us to believe at that point. So I know sometimes it feel like I'm talking in some type of street code and you got to decipher it. I'm being careful with my words to keep myself and our podcast from being put into social media jail.
I
Uh,
appreciate that.
and I probably shouldn't care about that, but I'm just being real. I don't want us to not be afforded the opportunity to continue to offer to people what we've done to this point. And if you're out there, if we still got any listeners with us that hung through all of the technical difficulties, I know I talked about us trying to be done at 8 o'clock. We're about 4 minutes out from that.
Hmm.
Any, or you're not able to say anything. I did not get a chance to get our host on.
She said it's black, so the only way we can probably get her is to log off and come back.
So I don't know. Time wise,
We can just come back next week.
I'm not in a situation to be able to continue too much past 8 o'clock due to some.
But we can. I'm good now. We can close it out, man. You can give your benediction, and we can go home. Or
So Soapbox Sundays is Dan said at the start, we talk about quite a few things, and Soapbox itself, when you hear that statement, soapbox is usually when someone will take the opportunity to, speak out on whatever opinion they have on a particular topic and share that topic with, people. We call that getting on your soapbox when you want to, you know, get something off your chest. And usually we, get pretty insightful when it comes to that. This week, I'll be honest with you. I talked about a little bit, Dan, while you were trying to get logged back on.
hmm
On a personal note, I talked about we on the previous podcast we were talking about New Year's resolutions, and one of the
right.
things that I made a promise to myself, and you and I talked about it in the production meeting, was I'm gonna get up earlier every morning when I have to work on the days that I work. So 5, 6 days a week, I've made an effort to get up an hour earlier than I normally did. And when I do that, my goal has been to get up and get, mentally prepared for the day, as well as physically. So I've started doing some workouts. Um, I'll give some before and after pictures for any of you out there that's interested in seeing. Just kidding. I'm gonna be doing that. But anybody who knows me know that I am getting healthier and in a better place. But I just want to say that it's been only a week and I
hmm
feel a lot better. I go into work with a totally different attitude. And I shouldn't say totally different because my attitude has always been somewhat of if I got to go do it, I got to go do it. But it has helped me. I've consciously made an effort to plan out and do a better job of what I eat. And I talked about how I'm planning out. I eat breakfast at home before I leave instead of rushing out the house and stopping at a local fast food restaurant on the way in. I'm preparing breakfast at the home or at my house myself. And then I'm preparing a lunch for when I'm at work, as well as I also prep and prepare my dinner for that day. And things just are moving smoother. Is everything in my life A1 and on point? Absolutely not. But just that small change, as I said, I feel better physically and mentally. I'm getting my rest, which was another part of it, to get a good night's rest, try to get at least
hmm
6 to 8 hours of sleep at night. And I know people are like, 6 to 8 hours? Get
No
out of
terrible.
here. I mean, I know that that's not possible for numerous reasons for everybody, but you have to pick realistic goals. And if you want to call it your New Year's resolution, fine. But I just picked that one thing, and it is having a domino effect. And when we talked about setting those resolutions and about the why, for me, it's simple. Exactly what I said is to change for me in just a week is I want to feel better. Uh,
hmm
I want to go in with a different attitude, not just for work, just in general. You know, we all have to get out here on the road and drive. I'm driving in rush hour traffic in the morning, and people do some pretty interesting things that used to really tick me off. And now, you know, I used to have a bad habit, and we all do it. You get up on the side of somebody after they do something really stupid, and you got to get in that look like, oh, to kick your ass or whatever. And you look
Mhm.
over there, and it's somebody's grandmama, somebody's nanny, and you be like, damn it, you better be glad it was you. But why you out here? Or
Right.
look over there like, if I see you at a gas station, I'm kicking your ass. Whatever it be, I've learned that, like, you know what? Let them go. Wherever they're trying to get to, ain't got nothing to do with me trying to get to where I'm trying to get to. Let it go. I don't even let it get me upset.
Trust us.
So I say that to say that the why for me to make the change that I made last week has been just to be in a better place mentally. I've made some severe changes in my life over the last 60 days, and I will continue to make those changes. Uh,
Okay.
so, you know, that's not so much a soapbox, but just where I'm at with things right now, and how they're doing for me. And I'm really happy to say that I'm seeing a change already. And it's just been 1 week, and it's just an extra hour in the morning instead of getting
Hmm.
up at the time I was previously getting up. Now I'm getting up an hour earlier, and you know, getting ready to leave the house is a lot less stress. You know, I'm walking out the house. Some days I'm waiting on it to be time for me to leave, getting everything I need to get done, and that's a much better feeling when it comes to leaving to start your day out as opposed to running out the house with your hair on fire.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. You know what? I think I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a shot for a number of reasons because I need to get up earlier than I do, and I just don't. Um, I have a habit of getting up at the last minute or getting up late, so I'm gonna fix that. So you my new accountability partner. So every day I'm gonna text you at 6:30 and let you know I'm up this week.
Awesome.
And if I fuck up, what I want you to do is next Sunday tell everybody how many times I missed my deadline.
All right, that's a deal. I'm writing that down. And we'll continue to. I like this. This is something that we can challenge ourselves.
Right.
Like I say, folks, sorry again about today with the technical difficulties and how long it took. As we get a few minutes past, I promise I'm gonna wrap up. Y'all know
Mm.
me. It's like when you're in church and the preacher say, "We about to wrap up." You know he ain't telling the truth. I ain't gonna say he
Mhm.
lying, but he just
Right.
manipulating the truth. You know, doggone well, he got another 15 minutes in him. So, but I just think that as if you guys continue to stay with us, you know, this upcoming year, we have some exciting things. You know, we want to start, you know, really helping you out, not just mentally and physically. We also want to help you out financially. Don't
Mhm.
get me wrong, we're not getting ready to start giving away money. If we had it, we would. Trust
Yeah.
me. You know, we'll talk about our foundation on our next podcast for those who don't know, and talk about the things we're trying to do in the community. But we want to start being able to share, you know, some little tidbits about different things. Again, we're not financial advisors, but
Right.
things that we've just some things we've done that seem to be working. Why not share those and get people in a place of thinking about their future?
Again, there's three places I'm gonna tell people to go. And these are YouTube channels where you can watch. You can find these people on all social media. But one is the Come Up series. You can learn about options and basics of investing. Wall Street Trapper. Again, he's more of a is a value investor where you learn about the basics of investing. And then Market Mondays is from Earn Your Leisure with Troy and Rashad and Ian Dunlap. And those gentlemen, every Monday at 8 o'clock, they have a show that talk about what's going on in the market. They give suggestions of stocks that can be invested in. They give strategies that you can use um, to get started. And you don't have to have a lot to get started. As Wall Street Trapper say, his goal is to enhance the community one share at a time. So you don't need a lot, you just need to execute. So those are three places where you can go to get information and just to get started on your journey of learning about investing and kind of getting involved in the market. For me personally, I am a student of investing. I've been a student for almost a year. Once the pandemic happened, I kind of jumped into investing a little more so than normal. I started uh, executing on things that I'm interested in, the things that I'm learning, my long term things, and understanding not just what to invest in, but why you're investing in it. I think is the most important thing, because when you invest in your money, you invest and you look into the future of not just the business, but how we live, and everything that's going on around us. How are things evolving? How are things changing? From medically to technology, medical or technology, and all those different things are important to understand where we are and where we're going, and then that'll kind of teach you how to shape, what it is that you may or may not want to invest in. So that's
Great.
what I do, and that's what I'm learning. So I'm still a student, still learning. I got in a bunch of different options in stocks that I already had. I added some stuff or took some stuff away, but that's what I've been doing. So right now, for me personally, I'm big on semiconductors, which are the chips that power technology, and that's just what I like. So that's the industry that I'm looking into and I'm invested in.
That's great. We'll go more in detail as we move on. Again, thank you guys so much for your patience and hanging in there. We do this live, as you see, and sometimes you're doing something live, you run into these type of technical difficulties. So if you're still out there listening to us, we really appreciate it. And again, we're always looking for topics. You can get in touch with me personally if you have my information, or most definitely reach out to us on our social media platforms with any suggestions, ideas, or if you're interested in coming on, because one of the things that we talked about a lot last year and will continue to talk about this year is people who are, started up their own business or an attempt at doing something on the side that they're passionate about. And if you want to have an opportunity to share your information about your product or your business, we love to have you on for yours. We're talking about small business, so we don't want the owner of Walmart calling us trying to get some airtime. But everybody else, small business owners, whatever your passion is, if you've got I don't care if it's a landscaping company, come on, we'll shout you out. We'll give you opportunity to let people know how they can get in touch with you. You paint
Mhm.
houses. I told you, I seen a truck in my subdivision. Guy comes around and he cleans up people's dog poop. So there's all kind of ways to get money. Because if I had a pet, I guarantee you I would hire him because I do not want to clean up any pet poop. But for you out there, if you have a business, if you have topic ideas, we're open to them. We're looking for guests. This is a pretty easy process. All we need is an email address. We'll send you an invite. You'll click on the invite, and you'll be on here just like you was FaceTiming a friend on your smart device. It's just that easy. So without anything else to talk about, again, I appreciate everyone's patience today. We're going to wrap it up. It's 10 minutes after 8, so we didn't do
Mhm.
too bad. Then we'll get together and chop it up. And oh, sorry, I cannot leave. I'm so sorry. How dare me not leave without shouting out and saying happy birthday to Martin Luther King as we celebrate that holiday on the calendar tomorrow. So a lot of people are off from work or taking that day off. Enjoy your day off, and let's remember and
Mhm.
reflect on what Martin Luther King really stood for. Not just the speech, I have a dream, just the quality that he fought for and we continue to fight for. 50 years later,
Mhm.
continue the diligence, the due diligence, the fight, just as he did, and the challenges that he endured. One of them is losing his life for that equality. So we just want to take and shout out him and what he brought to our society. And everybody enjoy your holiday tomorrow as we continue into the year. Stay safe. And again, wear your mask. Be safe out there, everyone. Good night.
All right, you're gonna have to close it because I can't do anything. So
I
shut
got
me
it.
down,
We out
Father.
of here,
All right,
folks.
everybody, have a good week. Get you an accountability partner.
Absolutely. I love it. I'll be looking to hear from you. I don't work tomorrow, but I'll be looking for you at 6:30, buddy.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
All right.